These are the best wireless headphones you can buy in 2022. They sound so good that it's difficult to believe that the sound is coming through a wireless connection. Granted, it's Bluetooth 5, but the sound quality here comes as close to any I've ever listened to matching the sound quality of good wired headphones. Simply remarkable. However, I didn't want to give the crown to this pair of headphones, and I'll explain why in just a bit. After having listened to these for over a month, I've got to say these are unbelievable. But the price is also unbelievable at a ridiculous $400 retail. Now, Sony runs a lot of sales, and so if you're patient, you'll be able to find these for quite a bit less. But if you're not a trust fund baby, then perhaps another pair will be the right ones for you. And so for that reason, I'm going to talk about a couple of others, including these for only $40. These Sennheiser wireless headphones are pretty good. Now, are these headphones 10 times better than these? No, absolutely not. But with the law of diminishing returns, every time you bump up the sound quality and the features a little bit, the price goes up substantially until you get to the point that these cost 10 times as much as these. So I want to talk about the advantages and disadvantages, what you lose by dropping down to around $40 for this pair, and what you gain with investing close to $400. And if you wait on a good sale, I think you'll find them quite a bit less than that. Before I get into the details of that though, let me talk about last year's best wireless headphones. And those would be the predecessors to these, and that is the Sony WH-1000XM4s. These came as close to a perfect pair of headphones of any that I've ever experienced. Just very well rounded, 30 hours of battery life, lightweight, comfortable, the ability to fold down, compact, and fit in your backpack, messenger bag, or whatever. Sound quality is good, noise canceling is very good, nice microphone array, robust features, intuitive controls. If someone comes up to you, you can cup one of the headphones and it'll instantly switch into ambient mode, so it turns on the microphones and you can listen to what they're saying without having to take them off. Just a lot of nice features. It has an infrared sensor inside so that as soon as you take them off, it stops playing your music or media. There's a lot to really like about this, and probably the best feature of the XM4s was that it added multi-point connectivity that the previous year's models, the XM3s, didn't have in 2020. And what that means is basically you have the ability to connect multiple Bluetooth devices to these headphones at the same time. Now that may not sound like a big deal, but once you get used to multi-point connectivity in headphones, you will never want to go back. The ability to be playing music on your phone and then switch over instantly to your laptop or iPad or watch or whatever is superb. The old way of having to disconnect from your phone, connect over to another device, was a pain compared to just the fluid simplicity of connecting to multiple devices. You take a call on your phone, it instantly switches over to your phone. You hang up the call, it instantly switches back to your laptop or tablet or what have you. That is just so feature rich. It's so nice. Once you get used to that, it's just difficult, painful to ever go back to the old way of life. So all in all, these were a remarkable pair of headphones. At $349 retail, it was on the pricier side, but I saw these regularly on sale from Sony going down to around $250, and at $250 these are an absolute bargain. And so these are still going to be on my recommendation list. These might be the very best headphones you can buy for your needs, depending on what those needs are, and I'm going to get into that here in just a bit. Overall, When I thought of Sony coming out with a new pair of headphones, I thought, how in the world are they going to improve in these? But I knew that Sony has a good track record of doing that. I buy quite a bit of Sony products, but others as well. I'm shooting this on a Sony camera, 2 different Sony cameras here. And Sony is really good at recycling their products every year. And I was waiting with held breath to see what they were going to do in 2022. And I wasn't very happy whenever they announced that these were the replacements. And if you haven't noticed already, I'm going to point out what's probably pretty obvious to most of you, in that these are lightweight, compact. You can fold these up and fit them in to just about anywhere that you want, a backpack or what have you, and it's going to take up very little space. Here is the case that came with it, and I loved the experience. As a matter of fact, there's hardly anything I didn't like about these. Just overall, incredible pair of headphones. Battery life is great. You've got a custom button here. They recharge via USB-C. Good codec support with SBC, AAC, and LDAC. That LDAC is not quite as robust as AAC in terms of multi-point connectivity. There is a compromise if you want to use LDAC, which is the higher quality. It can do 4 hertz to 40,000 hertz with up to 96 kilohertz of sampling. So it sounds really remarkable on the LDAC codec. The LDAC codec isn't quite as stable as some of the others, but for the most part, amazing sound. But I've gotten used to folding these up, packing them up, putting in this case, and being able to drop them into multiple of the pockets of my backpack. But when Sony announced these do not fold up. They've got a much thicker band. It's a larger ear. It has these, what I think are a little bit on the dorky side. At first I couldn't get used to these. And when I saw the announcement and what they had done, they fundamentally changed the form factor here. And I don't think that was a good decision on Sony's part. Fundamentally, what Sony has done is they took this compact folding design that is the WH-1000XM4, and then they come out with the successor, the WH-1000XM5, and suddenly it goes, the same model goes from a compact lightweight to a non-folding, heavy-duty, but higher quality sound model as this. What Sony should have done is they should have taken a play out of Bose's playbook. If you want to buy Bose's high-end collapsible compact headphones, you get the 45s. But if you want the non-foldable higher-end versions, you go with the Bose 700s. And so the distinction is obvious. In my opinion, Sony should have done the same kind of thing. They should have left these as the WH-1000, but then they should have introduced these as a separate model, such as the 1200s. And then if you want a compact, foldable design, you go with the 1000s. And if you want a superior sound experience, you go with the non-folding 1200s. But that's not what Sony did. They have these as the WH-1000XM4s, and they came out with these as the WH-1000XM5s. A branding mistake, I think, but nonetheless, that's what Sony is offering us. So these retail for $349 and these for $399. Are these worth $50 more? I think so, but more on that here in just a bit. I've gotten used to the compact nature of those, and now what I'm looking at is, instead of this case fitting in my backpack, I now have this one that's substantially larger. And so I resisted this and didn't want to like these. I didn't really even want to purchase them, but I heard the improvement was significant. So I decided to purchase them, give them a try myself, and decide, is this a worthwhile transition for me? Now that I've been using these for a month, I've got to say that I am completely impressed. The sound quality is phenomenal. How they made that much change is dramatic. The old ones had 40 millimeter drivers, the new ones only 30 millimeter. And so typically if you go down in size of drivers, you're going to have less fidelity, the inability to hit some of those deep bass levels of frequency. But because of the new neodymium magnets, what they're doing with 30 millimeter drivers here far surpasses the ability of these old 40 millimeter drivers. You've got 8 microphones, 4 dedicated to noise canceling, 4 dedicated to voice. The noise canceling is superb. I thought the noise canceling in these were incredible, and they are, but they've actually improved the quality of the noise canceling. I can be sitting at my desk and there can be people around me talking, a fan on, switch these on, and it is pretty close to silent. I'm going to show you in just a bit how you need to configure these. If at the end of this video you're convinced these are the right ones for you, you're a trust fund baby, or you can simply drop $400 or hopefully less on sale, then I want to show you how to optimize these. The mobile app comes with some weird settings. For example, by default it leaves this setting on that if you start talking it will immediately pause your music, but I found myself constantly humming or making some sound that stopped my media, so I recommend you switch that off, and a few other changes. Overall, I'm blown away with these. I actually made the switch. I gave these to my wife. I'm keeping these. I'm carrying them around on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, these are so good that I had to re-listen to my entire music collection once again. I've only done that 3 other times in my entire life. That tells you from my experience how good these are. Back in the 1980s, I built my own speakers. I lived in Kansas City near McGee Radio, and they carried amazing selection of speaker parts, and so I could go in and get polypropylene magnesium silicate cones and 3-way third order crossovers and build my own speakers, and built a pair that were just mammoth beasts, but they sounded incredible. And so I listened to my entire music collection whenever I built those. And then many years later, I have been buying B&W speakers. I tend to like the sound of European speakers, whether that be Mission or B&W Bowers & Wilkins or Focal, one of my very favorite. And so I bought several pair of B&W speakers. I started with the 200 series and worked my way up to the 300, 400s, 600s and such. And I went to a restaurant. My wife and I are vegans, and so we sat down at a vegan restaurant, and to my surprise, there were an old pair of vintage Bowers & Wilkins 802 Series 3 speakers sitting there in the restaurant, and I'm baffled they weren't playing. So when the waiter came up to us, I was able to say, "Hey, can you please put on those B&W speakers? I really want to hear them." And he said, "Well, unfortunately, they're broken. They don't work." And so I said, "Hey, any chance you guys would be willing to sell those?" He said, "Well, the owner's not around. You'd have to talk to the owner about that." So I left and couldn't get that off my mind. A few weeks later, I go back in, find the owner. She tells me the same story. I say, "Hey, would you be willing to sell those for a couple $100? She said, "Sure." I give her $200. I carry them out, load them up into my car, take them home, totally disassemble them, find that one of the tweeters is blown. They need a good amount of refreshing and cleaning, so I completely redid them, ordered a replacement tweeter from the factory, got all those in, put it together, and they sounded just phenomenal. If you were to go out and buy the new 802s, granted they're new and improved and says they're $22,000, but I was able to buy those 802 Series 3 for $200, put another $200 in for the tweeter replacement, so I'm $400 into a pair of $22,000 speakers. And after I got it put together, they sounded so amazing that I just had to listen to my entire record collection once again. And then third, I replaced my computer speakers with the Atom A7Xs for $1,500. It was a major investment, but I also mix a lot of my my wife's music and some audio and do editing of some of these videos with those, and so I wanted some good speakers. Now granted, they're not the flattest monitors you can buy, but in terms of good listening speakers, they are phenomenal. And so once again, I had to go listen to my entire record collection with those Atom A7Xs. Now that I had these, I went back and had to listen. Now I have some favorites, some albums that were so beautifully tracked and mastered, they're just phenomenal, such as Supertramp's Breakfast in America, especially the 2010 remastering of those. ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, a couple of theirs. So I have a list of some of my favorite albums and tracks that I like to listen to with new set of speakers or headphones. And so I put those on, made a variety of setting changes in the app for these, and the music that came out just blew my mind. The dynamic range, the balance, the fluidity, the tightness, the transients, the clarity of the transients were just phenomenal. And so I ended up going back and listening through those, and there's some settings such as the DSEE Extreme mode. There is Dolby Atmos support built into these and some other nice features. And so if you tweak these correctly, what this opens up is just phenomenal. So if you can drop 400 bucks or wait and find these on sale, these are incredible. If you can get by with a larger footprint because they're not fold upable, then these are what I recommend in 2022. If you can drop that kind of coin, I'm telling you, these sound amazing. And by the way, I'm going to put some of my recommended tracks down in the program description. And if you guys have favorite tracks for listening to headphones, put those in the comments below, because I'm thinking about really building a list of the very best mastered music for testing out headphones. And of course, if you go and listen to some tracks that aren't well tracked and mastered, you're not going to hear the difference between these. But if you have a taste, an affinity for high quality sound, these are not going to disappoint. I used to work in the 80s and 90s. I worked in some audiophile stores where I would listen to $100,000, $200,000 sound systems all day, and it kind of ruined my hearing. I can no longer appreciate some poor quality headphones or speakers, but these do not disappoint. So if you can drop that kind of coin, I encourage you to check these out. But if you don't want to drop that coin, if you want to save 50 bucks and you need a more compact presentation, I still think these are some of the best headphones money can buy, the Sony WH-1000XM4s. A lot to like about these, well balanced. I would say these might be a little more comfortable than these. The larger pads here tend to seal the air around your ears a little more if you're sensitive to heat in headphones. These might cause you some frustrations and you may be better off going with these. I think the Bose 45s are even a little better, a lighter presentation, lighter weight, and less pressure on the ears. So if you're really sensitive to heat buildup in your ears, you might consider the Bose 45s. For that reason, I really don't like the Apple AirPod Maxes. They are so heavy, large, they seal up over your ears in such a way that they're just warm to heat my ears up, and I just don't like them. And for $500 now, the fact that you can get these for $400, and Sony runs sales a lot more frequently than Apple does. You can find these if you wait for a Black Friday, or even I've seen these on sale at other times in the year dropping down to around $250. And so if you can find these for $250, the XM4s, that's a bargain. These are an incredible pair of headphones. Now, if both of those Sony XM1000s, the XM4 and XM5, are outside of your price range, these from Sennheiser are pretty good. I have several Sennheiser products. I really like their studio headphones. They're wired headphones. The 770 Pro that are closed back work really well if you're doing like overdubbing that I do in my studio sometimes for my wife, or the 990s that are open back. The 990 Pros sound amazing, very clear and open presentation. I'm also speaking into a Sennheiser MKH416 microphone right now, the LA mic. It's a $1,000 mic and it's decades old, but it has stood the test of time. A lot of voiceovers are still done today on this microphone. So Sennheiser has a good reputation for high quality sound, and these don't disappoint. Now, if you look at these, you'll see that the construction is as cheap as a pair of headphones can be. This portion here is just basic, simple plastic. They're lightweight. The construction is very cheap. It feels cheap, but they're comfortable, lightweight if you're willing to give up noise cancellation and some of the more robust experiences that you get with the WH-1000. These still have a lot to like. Now, if you do a side-by-side test of these to the XM5s, you're going to see an immediate and clear difference. These are going to sound a little more muffled. The dynamic range isn't as robust because, after all, what we're looking at here, if you switch to the LDAC codec, you're looking at 4 hertz to 40,000 hertz with 96 kilohertz of sampling. And then if you use that DSEE Extreme engine for decompressing with artificial intelligence, that's going to open up so much dynamic range. It's just phenomenal. And so you're not going to get near that level of experience with these. But if you're not looking to make a statement with your headphones and you're looking for something that allows you to play your music, that's comfortable on the ears, lightweight, you can wear these all day without a problem. For $40, this is an incredible bargain. And if you're watching this video and you can't afford $40 for a pair of headphones, leave a comment below and let me know what you would do with this pair of headphones. I will pick out my favorite and send it out free of charge. This offer is only available to those in the US. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is go to the App Store, type Sony, go to Sony Headphones or Headphones Connect. Then you'll see this Sony Headphones Connect here. Click download if you haven't yet. Once that's downloaded, you can open it. First thing you'll do is agree to the terms, and then start. Agree and start using. Once you get to here, then you'll power on your headphones. Click next. Okay, so I found the WH-1000XM5s. Tap to register. Found them. We're going to add that accessory. Proceed without restoring. Now, this adaptive sound control I do not like and don't recommend, because if you're sitting still in your chair, it will switch to one mode, and then if you start moving any at all, it'll switch to a different mode. I don't find that useful at all, so I don't recommend using that. You can track your activities if you want. Personally, I use Apple Watch and the Oura Ring, but if you don't have one of those or another type of fitness device, you can certainly use that. I'll say later, which means never. And the last step is you can set up 360 reality audio, particularly if you subscribe to a music service that provides 360 reality audio, which I do not. I will say later. And now setup is complete. So here is the main dashboard. I'll click over onto sound. Now I turn off speak to chat. I find it annoying if you're listening to your music and you start singing along or humming, or it picks up any nearby sounds, it will turn off your media. I find it annoying, but you may want to give it a try. Now, in terms of the equalizer, this is something you need to experiment with to find the balance that's right for you, so you can peruse through these, listen, and find one that you like or you can customize. You then have a 5-band EQ here, plus the ability to boost your bass. So set that to your liking. For me, I start with a flat profile, which is the default. So I'm going to switch the EQ off for now. One thing I do recommend is you analyze your ear shape. So this is a bit involved. You need to take photos of your ear, and as strange as this sound, I do recommend you go ahead and complete this process. I find it's helpful.
Face forwards and fit it within the frame on the screen. Please turn your head slowly to the right. Please captured photo. Remove the head, turn your head slowly to the left. Please captured photo.
Now that you've completed the process of choosing your EQ, analyzing your ear, and optionally, if you wanted to configure the 360 reality audio to a subscription service, let's go over to System. Now here's where you can connect to 2 devices simultaneously. If you turn this on, it will disable LDAC. LDAC will not support multiple devices, so here you have to choose between a lesser codec like AAC and connect to multiple devices at the same time, or you choose LDAC and connect to only one device at a time. Next, you can choose what happens when you take the headphones off, such as automatically pausing your media, which is my preference. Leave the notifications and voice guide on if you want. Automatically download software updates. And there you have it. I think these are good settings, at least for starting out. You may want to make some changes to the multi-point connectivity in the LDAC. You can make changes to your EQ depending on your music genre, but that is a good place to start. Well, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on the 3 best headphones, wireless headphones to buy at various price points. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Have you tried any of these? What has your experience been? Are you considering switching to these? If you have questions for me, leave those in the comments below. I will interact and answer each and every one of those for you. If I can help you differentiate which one of these is the right one for you, simply leave me details about what you're looking for, and I'll do the best I can to answer those. There's a wide variety of headphones in the market today, more than ever before, from Beats to JBL to B&W have their own, Apple and many others, and so it's hard to choose which one's best. And of course, all of these are subjective. You might listen to a pair of Bose and think the Bose 700 sound as good or better than these. And so there is enough subjectivity that you really do need to listen to each one of these yourself. Go into a Best Buy or some retailer that has each one of these on display, and you can try them out for yourself. Well, there you have it. Those are my thoughts on wireless headphones in 2022. I hope you found the video to be helpful and insightful. If so, would you consider subscribing? Stay in touch, because I do lots of product reviews, from audio to computer and tech to everyday carry, camping, just a wide variety of types of products for those of you like me that have very diverse types of interest. This channel is designed to cover a wide variety of products that you may find helpful and insightful. Also, if you would be willing, click the like button. It helps get this video out to the rest of the world. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, spread the love.